Welcome back. Welcome back. Happy New Year. And you're listening to Start a Biz, not the Michael DeVille Show, but it's called Start a Biz every Thursday at 1 o'clock and on the weekends here on KHTS. So we'll get back to Michael in a second. I want to introduce my partner who I really care for a lot. His name is Aaron Scott Young. He raises goats on
That's me.
A 20-acre
goat hunter.
The goat hunter. Also, our show, incidentally, brought to you by Laughlin USA. Laughlin USA. Check out their website. If you own a business in 2016, you need to go to their website. They have so much information. They provide documents. If you're going to form a partnership, if you're going to, if you're a sole proprietor, if you're thinking about developing a corporation, this is what Laughlin USA does. They provide documents for you and to your company at prices that, you're going to pay an attorney $5,000 to push a button. Go to Laughlin USA. Why don't you go on their website, Laughlin USA, push their button, and you're going to get a document maybe for $500 or $300 or $400.
Yeah, they're very, very cost effective, very inexpensive compared to using a law firm.
Do you know they've been in business, I don't know if you know this, Aaron, 40 plus years in business and over 100,000 clients. That's Laughlin USA. Don't start your year without them. All right, let's talk about our year together.
Yep.
So, I don't make New Year resolutions. Years ago, going back 30 years ago, I'd write down like 10 goals, put it in an envelope, hide it in the refrigerator, and I'd always forget it was there. My wife said, "What is this?" After it was frozen, I'd put it in aluminum foil.
In the refrigerator. I'd find it every day I'd be looking at my envelope.
Yeah, so what I did, and I wrote a book called The Thinking Room. That's a cheap plug for my book, The Thinking Room. But what I did was about 20 some odd years ago, I decided that I was going to change my behavior. I was going to change how I did business, and I was going to spend more time on developing relationships and quit worrying about me so much and worry about, worry is not a good word, but I wanted to care more about my clients, my friends. I was more interested in what they were doing. I was trying to reach out and be a better listener. So I would say if I have anything I want to do better in 2016 is continue to be a better listener.
I think that's a great goal. It's important to not always be looking for the next thing you're going to say. I had a great experience. Can I share a quick little story?
Yeah, make it quick though. Make it quick because I want to talk.
I know you don't want to listen to what I have to say. Yeah, Martin Sheen, the great actor, Martin Sheen. I had the chance to meet him at a fundraiser gala that I was on the board of directors for. Anyway, I told the host, I said, I'm going to fly down to LA from the goat farm up here, and my only goal is that I'd like to at least shake hands, get a picture with Martin Sheen. I know he's going to be there. So they introduced us, and we spent about 30 minutes together in this incredibly crowded hall with all these people, and Martin Sheen was one of the more famous people there, and people were kind of watching and trying to snap pictures. But here was the great thing. He and I started talking. We started talking about our kids, and we started talking about life, and that guy never once looked over my shoulder to see if there was somebody else more important, never said, boy, I better move on. He just was fully engaged in the conversation, made me feel like the most important person in the world for the time we were together. And then when it was time to move into that was kind of the private reception. Then when it opened up, he had to go participate, do what he had to do in the program, and never saw him again. We didn't exchange numbers. We didn't have a slumber party. We didn't become best friends. But while we were together, he made me feel like he really cared about the conversation. And I went home and I thought the best thing I took away from that trip was I need to be less focused on everything else that could be going on and just make people feel like they're the most important person in the world for the time that I get to be with them. It's a great goal. It's a terrific goal.
And listening, we're both married and we both love our wives and we're so blessed. But listening to your partner may be the most important thing you can do to minimize your aggravation this year. Yes or no on that one? Yes or no?
But I might have phrased it slightly differently than that. I will say that there's no relationship that I have that's more important than my wife, Michelle. We're coming up on our 29th anniversary, hands down the center of my universe, and I want to make sure I can do everything to help her feel heard and successful. And I tell you what, we both have really accomplished, very interesting wives. If we can just be polite to them and be their greatest cheerleader, they will go out of their way to make us feel good. So yeah. I think we're both very blessed with who we married. So it's going to be a great 2016. But I think listening, paying attention. But I tell you, I don't do resolutions either, Coach. But I do sit down every year and I rewrite my own personal vision statement of what it is that if the world could be perfect, my life, my business, my relationship, whatever could be perfect, I write it down as though I'm looking at a snapshot of it. And that refocusing of what is my end goal, destination, helps me put everything else in perspective. I don't need a bunch of, I'm going to lose 20 pounds and I'm going to, give more time to the Red Cross. I focus on the end, and if I focus on the end goal, it seems like the other things naturally come, because everything is, am I working toward that goal, or is this taking me away from the goal?
Wow, I think we have something that we could disagree on. You're listening to Start a Biz right here at KHTS, our flagship station, heard all over the country, brought to you by Laughlin USA. Check them out, especially for the new year, laughlinusa.com. If you're in business, don't run your business without checking with them, because they have documents, they have training programs, they have all kinds. They have webinars. I got an email from them today. There's a webinar on an LLC and corporations and the difference and all that stuff. So check them out, laughlinusa.com. So I got to kind of disagree with you here, partner.
Let's hear it.
I don't focus on the end result. I grew up studying John Wooden. So I've read every John Wooden book, The Pyramid of Success. And when you study the great John Wooden, he talks about, and I adopted it for my own life, he said, focus in on your techniques. Focus in on your techniques so that you complete your task better. Do not focus in on the result. Do not focus in on the end result. That will take care of itself. So if you're in business, what does that mean? That means become better at what you do. Become a true expert like Aaron Scott Young is in his business, and I'm trying to be in my business. I focus every day on trying to be a better communicator, because that's what I do. I have to build relationships. I want to be more courteous. I want to focus on listening. So these are techniques. So I don't care what business you're in. We're going to have Michael back here in a second, who is one of the top car guys in the country, and I want to ask him what he focuses on. But look, that's where I differ with you, pal.
Well, I think you're talking about tactics, and I'm talking about strategy. I think that you do need to be constantly improving things and constantly, be a better listener, be a better communicator, be a better boss, be a better friend, be a better husband. But if you don't know where you're going in life, if you don't have some target, I adopted begin with the end in mind 30 some years ago, and have, like you, it's interesting, it's different ways, but I've built multiple multi-million-dollar companies, all of them that can operate without me being in the middle of them every day. They all function even if I'm not there, and make us money 24/7, all because I'm always focused on the end result. What is it that I'm trying to achieve? And I build everything to do it. So I think we may be both giving good counsel. You're looking at more of the micro level, and I'm looking at more of the macro. Maybe I'm wrong though. Maybe that's
no. I think it's a personal thing. Whatever works. Like I'm an older gentleman than you, so I try to live for today. I try to be the best that I can today, because tomorrow may not come. So if I can be the very, very best today, the best listener, the best friend, the best husband, the best business associate. If I can do everything I can today to, when I put my head on the pillow, to say, not only thank you, God, but I gave value to my life, and I gave value to other people's lives. So because tomorrow may not come. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I guess here's what I'm saying. As an employer of a bunch of people, and as a dad of a bunch of kids and stuff, I'm always thinking, what is it that we need to do to serve the client, serve the employee, make the company stronger? What would be a good way to, how would we keep score on how we're doing? and we set some goals for SCORE, and we work toward it. But I totally am with you that if we're only ever focused on the destination and we don't enjoy the ride,
right,
we don't enjoy the trip, then we're totally missing it, because the destination will change. That's why I have to reevaluate every year. But you're right. If you don't stop and smell the roses, you're gonna wake up, or you're not gonna wake up one day and you're gonna feel sad on the trip through the pearly gates.
Amen, brother. I want to.
Here we go.
I want to draw you out on a question. Where our show is video. It's too bad you're not in the studio. I'm holding up my book, The Thinking Room. I'd like to sell 10,000 books this year, 2016. Hopefully, Kyle will buy just one of them. $500 a book, Kyle. All right. So here's my question. You do a lot of public speaking. You get paid big money. What are you going to talk about in 2016? What's your topic?
Oh my gosh! Thanks for asking me.
Oh my God!
I would not. No, this.
We didn't rehearse this, Kyle. Don't laugh. No, this was not rehearsed.
The setup, and I wouldn't have brought it up. Oh my gosh! Okay, I'm going to be teaching business owners now. I have a lot of small micro business owners, but I also have lots of clients, lots of people that follow me who have employees, and people are always frustrated with saying, "Oh my gosh, I wish I didn't have any employees," or the employees are saying, "My boss is a goofball." And I thought, man, I at least I think I have a great relationship with my employees, and they stay with us for a long time. And I thought, how did I build all this? So I wrote it all down. I put it into a curriculum, and I'm going to be doing something called the Unshackled Owner, how to unchain yourself from your desk, how to build a business, how to have a company that you own rather than the company owning you. And I'm going to be teaching that multiple times. I've already given my first keynote on that in front of a great big group of CEOs of companies. And I'm really excited because I've been running companies for 33 years now, Coach, coming on 34 years. And this is the first time I've ever thought, I'm going to teach people how the actual process I've used that's been such a blessing to our family. And I think to hundreds of other families, because we have lots of employees, and by setting your company up where it can be successful and the client or the employee can be successful and feel great about their job and not want to be looking for another job, that's a blessing to everybody. And but it sounds very spiritual. I keep saying blessing, but the point is it's a real benefit and it helps people. And I'm excited to teach it. So, Guy, thanks for asking, because I would not have brought it up.
All right. So the Unshackled, what's it called?
Go to the unshackledowner.com.
Unshackledowner.com. All right, so I'm going to bring back our car guy because obviously he's been hit with our listeners. Michael DeVille with a Honda dealer in Alhambra, California called Gowdy Honda. His name is Michael DeVille. So I want you to draw him out. When we come back from break, I'm curious. I want you to ask him, and I'm going to listen, and so is our thousands of listeners here in Southern California. I want to see how you can help him sell more cars. Is this a good little test?
Sure, let's try it. Let's play.
Let's try it. Okay, we're going to take a break. The show is brought to you by Laughlin USA. The show is brought to you by Adage IT. Let me just say from the bottom of my heart, I had a lot of computer issues in 2015, and I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, if you're in Southern California and you own a computer, there's only one company. I use them almost every day called Adage IT. Adage IT. They fix computers. They fix your problems. They create all kinds of firewalls and security issues. And you know what? We can't live with them and we can't live without them. But Adage IT has done one heck of a job for the coach. And also they cover the whole U.S. So it doesn't. They have offices around the country. They're called Adage IT. They have a big office in Texas. If you want to work for them, give them a holler. Adage IT. We'll be right back, and we're going to listen in on a conversation between Aaron Scott Young and the car guy's name is Michael DeVille, one of the top car guys in the country. 500 cars a month. Let's find out how he's going to even do better by taking Aaron's system, the Unshackled. Anyway, we'll come back and find out. The Unshackled Business Owner. Be right back. No, seriously, if you listen, ladies and gentlemen, from my heart and Aaron Scott's heart, Happy New Year. We hope, you know what? We hope it's your healthiest year ever, because if you're healthy of spirit and mind and body, you can accomplish anything in your life. And if you listen to our show every week, we really have the best guest on. I mean, today in studio we have Michael DeVille, who sells more cars than anybody ever met in my life. We're going to talk to him in a minute. So, Aaron, you're our last segment, the Unshackled Owner. I want you to basically pull out or share with our listeners how you would coach up Michael DeVille so that he sells more Hondas in 2016 than he ever has in his life. That'd be a great goal. And then he comes back at the end of 2016 and says, Aaron Scott Young and a coach, you're the best. So
you're the best anyhow. This meeting makes me feel good.
Well, okay, so this you kind of snuck up on me. I mean, the people listening are not going to believe it. They're going to think this is scripted, but you did sneak up on me on this. But I'll tell you, Michael, let's have a little talk real quick, and because let's find out. You are already doing things that are working incredibly well, obviously, if you're managing a sales force that's doing 500 cars a month. And so you're doing a lot of good things. So let's figure out what those things are so our listeners can get some of those best practices. But I'm gonna just ask you a couple of quick questions, and you may not have to give the full answer right now, but let's at least give the listeners a little bit of a taste of the way I would go through. And this is the same thing I do, Coach. You know, when I have these people, I do deep dives, $25,000 a day to sit and talk to them about their business. And so these are the same questions.
You know, those same people that pay you $25,000, I'll do it for $500, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, go get the coach. Go get the coach.
I can't believe people pay you that kind of money. It's ridiculous. I'll do it for half the amount.
Well, you know,
it's only ridiculous. They're always going to pay based on the results they're going to get. So I think.
All right, I'm going to shut up. I'm going to shut up and listen. Go ahead.
Hey,
I'm going to learn something myself. Go ahead.
Hey, Aaron, everything's relative if you don't have the tool, right? You can't.
Yeah, that's right.
If you don't have the tool, you can't get the job done.
That's right. So let's get the job done here. The first thing we always ask is, where are you headed? What's the vision? And I would have you write a one-page vision statement. And if we were talking about Gaudi Honda, I would say, tell me exactly what you want to accomplish. If it was perfect, what would that look like? And you probably don't want to divulge a lot of private company stuff right here, but let me just ask you, Michael, you're already kicking about 500 cars a year. What would be, what's something that you could get your head around believing that you guys could do in the climate that we have right now that would be a vision, that would be perfect? If it was perfect, what could you be honestly doing?
More customer follow-up and capturing information. There's a lot of things that fall through the cracks. You get a customer that calls in and you get one salesman that maybe write it on a card instead of write it on the things he should be writing it on so that they can get back in touch with that guy. That's probably another 25, 30 cars a month right there alone.
All right.
Just human error in relations to customer service.
Okay, good. So that's great. So folks, listen to what he just said. Instead of saying, I want to make $1 million more or we want to sell 100 more cars, he said, let's do better retention of the leads that are already coming to us. Folks, what would your business look like if you had every single client that you ever had was still a client? What would that look like? Think about that, Michael. If everybody that called in, you could keep track of all of them and have a chance to have a conversation with them and see if the Honda would meet their need or anything else that's on the lot. How much more could that theoretically improve your business?
Oh, it would be huge. I relate it to a batter. If you're a pro playing baseball and you're batting .350, you're doing good, right?
That's exactly true.
So
it's not nowhere near 100%.
Yeah,
.350 is good.
.350, you're doing good. So in business, actually, .350 would be bad.
So okay, I'm going to lead you. We're going to lead because Michael, this is so good. So the next thing I would do is once we had the vision figured out, then I'd say, okay, now that you know the vision, and I like to use 4. It could be 3. I wouldn't go more than 4. What are 4 critical measurements that you want to keep track of that will really determine your success? So at my company, we track top-line revenue, bottom-line profit, client satisfaction, employee satisfaction. Because I believe my employees, my human resources, are my single most valuable resource. And so what's my top-line number, bottom-line profit? In other words, how am I doing taking assets, turning them into revenue? How do I take revenue, turn it into profit? That's what and then how do I take profit and turn it into cash? Because what's profit on your bottom line, on your income statement is not real spendable money.
Right.
So you just said if you're a batter and you're batting .350, that's pretty good. So you've already figured out it's important to keep score. You need to keep statistics. Is that true?
Exactly. You have to keep statistics on all your performing employees.
Well, if you went to a basketball, now Coach likes football, basketball, What sport do you prefer of those two, football or basketball? We'll use that metaphor.
Football.
Okay, football. If you go to a football game and here's 24 guys, no, I'm sorry, 11 guys, 22 guys running up and down the field, beating the snot out of each other in the cold, and it's snowing, and you're all bundled up except for you got face paint on you and everything, and you're there and you're watching, but there's no scoreboard. Nobody's keeping score. They're just taking turns going up and down the field. How much fun is it to watch that game?
No, it's boring. It's boring because you're actually going to lose. You're going to lose track of who's winning and who's losing.
Yeah, you don't know. Nobody knows where anybody stands. So one of the things that I learned years ago with building companies that can be an asset, not just a glorified self-employed job, is I've got to get every single employee to understand how to keep score. I need to tell them what I need, but then I need to say, okay, now that I've shown you what your obligation is as an employee, let's talk about how we can keep score on you. How do we make it a personal scoreboard for that person? So when you're running a big sales force, Michael, how do you guys figure out a way to keep each individual salesperson motivated?
Most of our motivation in car sales is based on commission and sales.
Okay.
But we try to motivate them more on the aspect of what you're going to get for customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction gives you repeat referral business. They spread word of mouth about the company. So if you can get the customer satisfaction up, you can get the sales up. But you have to take small steps before you can take big steps. And I'm sitting here with you guys, right? And I'm looking at the coach's book, and this is not something I scripted. I'm just looking at the coach's book, and I was thinking I need to pull all my managers in a room maybe once a week for about an hour, and then just call it the thinking room.
Well, it changed my life. I wrote the book because when I taught myself how to think differently, I made better decisions. When you make better decisions, you get better results. And most people suffer, like Kyle does, from self-esteem issues. And when you get better results in life, your self-esteem is healthier. And when your self-esteem is healthier, you have true confidence. So you're a man of confidence. So is Aaron Scott Young. We only have 2 minutes left.
Let me throw this in there real fast before you go.
Can you say it fast?
Real fast. My daughter had a party, and the mother-in-law was saying, just do the best you can do, honey. And I was fuming because I'm like, it's not the best you can do. It's better than the best you can do.
Well, you're an interesting guest. We'll have you back. If you become a sponsor, we'll have you back. If you don't sponsor the show, you're never coming back.
Never
Michael,
see
you and we can talk anytime. I know
never
we've only got a
coming
minute.
back.
Let me say one more thing, Coach, to wrap this up. Michael.
Gaudi Honda.
The idea, Gaudi Honda Alhambra. The thing is, the final part of this is if you can get people to feel like their job is personal to them and that they're keeping score and they never have to wonder, how am I doing? They always know exactly what that. You guys have big whiteboards, I'm sure, in the sales room. Everybody knows where they stand at every minute.
Exactly.
And if you can create that kind of an atmosphere, and if they make a mistake, you teach them. You don't just ream them. You make people feel good about. They will sell more cars. They'll get better. They'll get better retention. The employees will remember to write down the name of the person that called in or just wandered on and off the lot.
20 seconds.
Everything will happen, and it'll make a great 2016. 2016 will be a big deal.
All right.
Well, this is a great conversation.
We got to have. We'll come back. We'll have you back. Well, we got to say Happy New Year. Let me say this. Next year, I want to do a show on what you just said about not keeping score, because I noticed these little soccer guys here in Santa Clarita, they don't keep score. So that's a segment we'll talk about. I know Kyle has sons, and we'll get Kyle involved in that conversation. Happy New Year, everybody, and make it a healthy New Year.
Be careful tonight.
Yeah.
Drive safe.
Drive safe. Give somebody a hug, and no texting and driving. Maybe if you have one goal for the year, we'll see you next year. No texting and driving.
Happy New Year. Bye-bye.
Happy New Year.